Yep.
All right, I'm just going to start. I don't need an introduction. Um, so we're going to talk about empty alignments. I put on Twitter, listen, I haven't led a drive that punted since 2018. So this is some gold stuff here. For those of you that didn't get that joke, I hadn't coached since then. But uh, it was, we did have a lot of success running this the last 5 or 6 years I coached. And the main reason was we made people defend the whole field. Um, so I want to go over how we lined up and what I really got. Probably I got more questions about how we ran so many formations and movements and shifts and all that than any other question I got offensively. Ironically, since I've been doing this Twitter stuff and all that, people ask me about all kinds of things, but people used to mainly ask me about offense, which now it seems like I don't even put too much on offense out there because there's so many things out there. The coaching organization stuff is probably more helpful, but I do think we had some good stuff offensively. Here's the most important thing I'll probably will tell you about this. Everything works on offense, guys. Everything works. Don't think you got the magic plan. Don't think, so and so at so and so college has the magic plan. They all work. It's all about organization and how often, how you can practice those techniques. So when Coach DeMayo was just talking about triple stuff in the gun, how many times can they practice versus the 4-eye versus shade versus whatever, and for real get that time? I mean, if you can organize your practice, if you can call it at the right time, I mean, all that stuff works, guys. Make sure you have something that fits your style. Make sure you have something that your kids can run. Make sure you have an organized plan. All this stuff works though. So this what worked for me, and maybe you guys can pick a little something from it. I want to be versatile. Both schools I was the head coach at were probably average as far as players. We weren't known for having great players. It was very important that we were versatile, that from year to year, we might have had a really good quarterback, a really bad one the next year, a good wide out, a bad wide out. We just had to be versatile. We had to be multiple and simple, but do a bunch of different things. And that's mostly what we're going to talk about today. I like dictating the tempo. I like to go fast, go slow, do different things. And sometimes the formation and shifts and all that kind of helps you with that. I like to wear an opponent down. You can wear an opponent down by running it down their throat, or you can wear them down some other ways. So I don't like, instead of saying we want to physically run it down their throat, I just kind of change that to let's wear them down. And probably the biggest thing that'll come out of this with the empty stuff is you guys seeing we want to stretch the field vertically and horizontally. We want to make them run sideline to sideline and cover all 5 verticals. So if you can make them at least worry about that, people are usually open. This is why we used empty. I ain't reading to y'all, so let's get to the stuff. So basically, like I said, everybody that we played that was my friend always asked me when you're the head coach, you got to do the BS talk before the game. You got to walk out there and talk to the other head coach and ask them about their feelings, and they ask you about your feelings and all that stuff. So in those talks, I usually got the oh, damn, coach, we scouted y'all 136 formations. I mean, dang, a board looks like this. I would get that all the time, and they'd want to know how do y'all even get all that in? How do y'all call that? We really did run a bunch of formations, but they all came from these 6 formations. I don't plan on coaching, so it ain't a big secret now. We called these 6 formations in our world the outside receivers. As a tight end or not a tight end with this Y. These 3 have tight ends. These 3 have outside receivers at the Y and X. And these 3 guys, the left, the right, and the Z, all could be running backs. Because we weren't in empty every play. If you guys aren't familiar with what we did, we weren't in empty every play. We taught it like this, move people to the backfield. So, excuse me. So our 3 guys off the ball, any of them could come in motion, could go to the backfield, could run the ball, whatever, and are out, are out. So when you start moving those guys around, you get a million formations. So we were going to start with the wings in tight here, these 2 guys in tight. If people weren't going to shoot gaps on you here, we might put them more out wide like here. If we wanted to mix it up, you put them in a bunch position, but it's the same guys. And if we wanted to go tight end sets, you had the pro style look, the tight end empty. So this looks just like this. The R and L are spread out. And then the tight end with twins on the other side. So we started with these 6 formations, middle school kids, 9th graders, whatever. And then we would add tags to get to a million formation, which I'm going to show you. But if you're not real familiar with our offense, I'm gonna try to show you a few plays of each. Some of these I'll let run. Michael, if any guys this doesn't work right, I may have to go out to PowerPoint. I tried to embed them, so y'all tell me if you can't see this. I just want you to see the formations, but we got the wings tight. We're trying to play fast here. This is what we call brown and black, where the wings were tight. Brown, the Z was right, black, he was left. Everybody else playing the same way. All right. I'm skipping some of this. There. Same thing here. They're tight. There's the Z, outside receivers. I just want you to get a feel for what we were doing if you're not familiar with us. And then I will talk about how we moved everybody around. Same thing here. Wings tight. Z on this side now, so it's black. Receivers. And see, nobody had to move except that Z. So the color words, the wings were in tight, and the not color words, they were out wider. Oh Lord, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. So this is our Franker field, which would have been, now the wings are wider. So it's more like a traditional empty, trips on one side, twins on the other. But these two guys do the same jobs as before. So that's a now screen, we'd have had screens on both sides and the quarterback could have run just like a lot of people do. Let's see. All right, same thing here, trips here, twins up top, bringing motion and going. I mean, most of our stuff was motion, something off of, but we were going to start in that empty set a lot. So you can kind of get a feel for what we were doing. The key is whether those wings were in tight or not, everybody run the same play because they're still the inside receiver. They're still the number 3 guy blocking, whatever it is. Same thing here, trips here, twins there, throwing the ball here. Make them defend the verticals. You guys ask, I mean, this is just random plays. We're just talking about formations, but if you got any questions or anything, put them in the chat. Michael will ask them to me. So this is our bunch stuff. So again, I just put a couple of plays at each one so you can see the formation as a whole. Now we're in the same formation, but everybody's bunched up, getting the same look. There's keep pass. Same thing here, bunch. Some ants. There's bunch where we're running the ball. You guys will have access to this if you want, so you can watch some of these on your own if you're interested. I'm trying to go through them so you can get a feel. So then those were the 3 formations without a tight end, and these are the 3 with a tight end. And we got Sam. Let's mute them. All right. So now we got a tight end here, right here, and these guys are just like brown and black, but we got a tight end in, buck sweep. So, for everybody but that tight end, same play. So we only had a few plays. We just had a bunch of formations because we can move all these skill guys to make even a new formation. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's see. You see here, same formation, tight wings, tight end. We run the verticals. Let's see. Like I said, I'm leaving some of these because you guys get the point. But I just want you to see the alignments. So think about here, twins, tight end. So this is just like Frank and Field, but now that guy that was out there wide's in at tight end. So the kids had to kind of learn what the rule mattered on those 6 formations. They just kind of got to figure it out. Well, I'm out wide on these 3 and in on these 3, or I'm whatever, you tight end. But after that, you start tagging things. And this was one of our best formations, especially for just being a little more physical, was just the twins close, for defense coaches. So we got twins up top, tight end, wings on both sides. So just like brown and black, except now we put the guy over here. You run buck sweep, a lot of good plays of that and throw off of it, See if I can find a run and play. This will be a good one. All right. So you can kind of see what we normally are trying to do. We got the tight wing up top. We're just running buck sweep. I mean, that was the play right there. And then you throw off of it. I mean, if you ever watch any Kenny Simpson stuff, he does a lot of the same stuff. So he probably put him in the backfield and we probably brought him in motion. But that was just because I wanted them to respect the 5 verticals as much as possible. So then we just came up with words. And I'm just telling you what we did probably 2018. We had a really good team. And this is probably what we used. But I will make these tags up. If I was coaching right now, I'd make up 40 more of them. It doesn't matter. Whatever the kids can learn. You just add a tag to it, change one of these guys. Everybody else stays the same and move on. So this is kind of what we did. So if we tagged R to the formation, so instead of brown or black, it was brown R or black R or whatever it was, then the R will move to the backfield. So now we got some more traditional formations, if you see that. But here's what the key was for us. People scouted and they see us in the backfield and they may say, well, when the back's in the backfield, that means now they're doing this. That. The truth was 90% of the time anyway, it really didn't. It really didn't because, the right wing here, like this guy here, if we run jet sweep, he's going to block the same guy he'd block from right here. Can you guys see my cursor, Michael, if I move that?
Yes, we can see it.
But, because that's what, like you get in this set, and you say, man, a lot of people don't run back over here. But we ran weak all the time. So we just call weak sweep. This guy goes and blocks outside backer. He does it. All they did was work their techniques. Every running back worked their techniques from here, and from out here. They had 3 alignments, and you just could run every play the same. So the play didn't matter. Just us putting them in the backfield was really a lot of times just window dressing. And so all those same 6 formations, really 6 groups, you add the right wing in the backfield, and now you got a new formation. Here's a couple examples of those. So this would be like brown or black. But that wing came to the backfield. Now we're just running the buck sweep with no emotion. Let's see. Here you got like a regular empty look. These trips, these twins, and he just is in the backfield. So it looks like 2 by 2, like everybody runs, but we're running our empty type stuff. If you put L, same thing. Now just the L went to the backfield. Nothing earth shattering with this stuff, guys. But we just did it and called the same play. So if I want to call keep pass, I could call keep pass out of green. I could call keep pass out of green L. I call keep pass out of green R. And if it was keep pass right, it literally looked the exact same to us. We didn't care. It was more about how we could get that matchup. Our kids knew, these running backs knew how to do it from the wing, from the backfield, and from out wide. Here's a couple examples of the left wing in the backfield. So now we're over here. This guy's moved to the backfield. We're just throwing a pop pass off. That's buck sweep actually, but we're throwing the pop off of it. Same thing here. We moved him to the backfield. There's a tight end in, so there's tight end, wing, receiver, other wing, but so all those are different looks to the defense, but it's just a bunch of buck sweep if you really watch, and plays off of buck sweep. All right, so if we went Ripper Liz, now we would move the R to the backfield and send the other one in motion. That created some pretty cool looks because we could always bring this. If we ran jet sweep right with the Liz, then we got Liz this way, jet sweep right this way, create a little cross action, or we could just go Liz and run a regular old play. But this would be for plays there wasn't automatic motion in, because there was automatic motion, they did it anyway in our offense. But you can kind of see a few of those here where we might want to make something weird look. Here we got motion and we're just running inside zone. but we could run the inside zone. We could just go R inside zone, which for us would be Zulu or Zorro. So we go R Zulu, or we could go Rip Zulu. One will be no mo, one will be with the motion. That motion just window dressing, creating a new formation, but it did get some people to move there. Let's see. Same thing here, I think. Yeah. If we at B, that was both. So R was right wing to back, L was left wing to back, B was both. Now we got a 2-back look, but nothing really changes. We still running the same play. Remember, these backs can do their thing from here. They can do it from here. They can do it from out there. And I'll get to some of the cuter stuff here in a minute for those of you that are interested. But you can kind of see, get the idea. Let's see. You know, so we're just running sweep out of this, and then we ran a waggle off of it, or boot. You get the idea, but it's the same play, but they're tagging that as a whole new plays in the film room. Excuse me. If we get turbo the O tag on it, now the X went over. So we got the X and Y on the same side. So now if you think about what that regular brown looked like, that was X over here, X over. We usually put the back in the backfield too, just because it allowed some more things, but we could have left the back out here in a wing alignment, or we could have said O for this year. I think it meant X over and back in the backfield. And then we can run everything we normally run over here if we needed to, because these wings are used to doing that. And or we could see if they overload over here. And you know, I love the oversets, just like we've been doing this for years, but I see a lot more of them now in the high school and college level. So I guess people have caught on. But I love this one down here, the green O and the gold O, where your bunch trips and they got here, so the corner's got to come cover him, and they don't quite have the same run support right there. So they have to either get that or they overplay it, and he can just come back and run over here something that you normally run, you know. So these sets are really good. If you hadn't written anything down you liked yet, you might like that one if you don't run it. That's a pretty good formation. Here's a couple of these. I'll show more of these because you can kind of see what we got here. So in this set, let me see. You know, we got the guys up here. That guy's ineligible. He's a good player. They got to cover him 3-on-3 though, because we can block on the screens and stuff like that. And they kind of overshifted. Like, you know, you see there's not much over here. So we just came back and ran back over here. Just got a tiny piece of that guy. Wasn't great. And then, you know, got some yards. Same thing here, but this time you notice the difference here was this team now chose to do play more straight up. So, you know, they didn't really respect the two guys on. So this guy's way off. He's in there, you know. So we're going to run some kind of scheme where we can throw screen out there. Now we're in the bunch set, and this is one of our, like I said, this is one of our better ones. We got bunch trips, and we got him out there. So the corner had, normally when you do bunch trips, and we did a ton of bunch trips, so the team coached that up. But the coach up point was this guy's going to go up on the line and blow somebody up, and this corner is going to slide in here and support well on the run plays. And they just can't do that in this particular set. So we were able to get outside and kind of outflank them and get going. I think I saw a question, Michael. Did I see one? I didn't see what the question was.
It was just a comment. It wasn't a question.
Somebody telling me how great I'm doing. I appreciate that. That was nice of them. If somebody does have a question, please tell me that. All right. So if we went into cruise, my favorite tags were really to run that O set, the oversets, and this one, the cruise. If we ever said cruise, we were going to get into quads. But the only thing I thought was unique about what we did was we always hard counted to it. And all this did was just make me have to hard count some more. So we'd send the wing in motion. So see this L right here. He'd be over there. If we went cruise, he's going to go in motion, hard count. If they jump, we get the yards. If they don't jump, he just keeps on going and goes and lines up out there. And now everybody does their same job except obviously the L's out there number one. So if it was a pass play, he's probably gonna run somebody off. But now they're doing their same routes 1, 2, and 3, but they're doing it from the number 2, number 3, and number 4 receivers. And so that gave us some pretty good looks, especially again in the bunch set. If you look right here, the bunch with the guy here, same thing. Corner's got to come cover him. Now he's eligible. So this is a little different because last time, the X was over there. Now it's the other wing. So, you can really throw the ball pretty well out of this. You got quads where everybody's eligible. So you got to worry about this backside pop or glance or something. And then you got all the guys eligible here. The corner's got to come out there. They got to worry about this, and they still got to cover this trip. So, again, this was a good set for us. This was a good set for us. Getting in quads with the tight end. This was a good set. If you want to run the ball some, where you could get the tight wing there, and you could then shift somebody again if you had to, or run your quarterback if you had a quarterback buck sweep or something like that. But these formations were really good for us. And what I liked about it was when we evolved them into making it kind of a tempo too. So we're sending motion, hard count. They don't jump. I didn't even care if they jumped, honestly. I just it just made us have to play with a different tempo. And so they went out there and covered him, but we actually had put this in because he was a good player. We had 1 or 2 plays running mesh, and we just knew we could outrun them, so we threw it up. But they couldn't scheme that up because he started over here. We didn't just line up out there. He started over here and went, so now they got to shift, and somebody's got to come out here that now's not covering, and this guy's got to move down a little bit. And so, it just – I thought the adding in, if you got some ways where you can make yourself shift or make yourself hard count, then it's always better. Get to the next play. All right.
Going to bed, bud?
Do what? Did somebody have a question?
I think they accidentally unmuted, Coach.
All right, so here, that's all right. Here, we're in a regular old wing set we call Brown, 2 wings, Z, 2 outside receivers, regular kind of wing empty. Hard count, they don't jump. By then, we've probably done it to them 4 or 5 times. You get them every now and then, but we create a new look over here. They didn't hardly move, so we ran the ball. Probably gave the quarterback, probably was a play where we could throw screen out here. He could run it and look at the box. I don't know if you guys got people like this, but he was a good player. So he always saw that box where he could run it. I might would have thrown that one, but can't say much about the result. Same thing here. We've already gone in motion. I think here, I may have missed that part, but we're out there. That's the guy that came in motion. Now we're throwing the screen. We threw verticals on them a lot now, so they kind of played way off. Got the screen on them. Now, for the tempos we ran, these were the ones we used. And here's what's probably imperative about the tempos. Most of these, the kids didn't even hardly know. We just practiced it like we practiced our regular tempo. We practiced going from the sideline to the first play of the series. We practiced getting in a huddle every now and then because we've rarely gotten a huddle, but I mean, you might would every now and then. Our Bama meant run it again, same play, run it again as fast as you can. Freeze meant hard count, obviously. Sugar, we got in a little short sugar huddle, broke, and then run and lean was where we would hard count, motion, and go back. So I'm going to show you a few of all these. Like our regular tempo, I'm not reading all this to you. I'll send it to you. Our regular tempo, we were just going to play as fast as I could call the plays, or as fast, a better way to say it's as fast as I wanted to call the plays. I started out doing like the Tony Franklin-ish kind of stuff, like with NASCAR, and then we went freeze, and then we went normal, and but then I started realizing if I just called the plays fast, the kids ran them fast, and if I called them slow, they ran them slower. So I just kind of, as I got better at it and older and more experienced, I just kind of liked one tempo in regard to that no huddle, where if we got a first down, if we ran a buck sweep, we got 23 yards, we're rolling, everybody's cheering. I'm just calling the next play. If I know what I want to run, it's just call it right now. And the kids will get up and run it right now. If I kind of sat there and waited, the kids got to sit there and wait. And we kind of practice like that. And I'm not saying that'll work for you, but that worked pretty good for us. Just letting me dictate that. Because I think there's points in a game and definitely points in a season where you got to play really fast, and there's other times where you want to play kind of slow, and sometimes telling the kids to do something different is not helpful. You need to be able to do both with as much things feeling the same for the kids as possible. Like I said, our sideline huddle ain't much of nothing, but I thought if you got all them guys in the sideline huddle, you know, meaning for those guys who understand what I mean, they punted to us, it's 1st and 10. We get everybody grouped up, and you know, you're telling them something. But you got to remember, those are great opportunities. We're not talking about play calling tonight, but those are great opportunities to call a play where you got to remind somebody of something because you're right there with them. But when you get everybody together, you break that huddle, let's go and run the play. That's one of the only times where we get the advantage of being in the huddle, because we're never in the huddle. So we didn't get that. The one thing I loved about the huddle was when you broke it, if you could run to the line and run it, you didn't give that D coordinator a lot of time to really see the formation and to really help kids out. So the sideline was kind of one of the only times you could do that. So we tried to do that. So if we ever got in a huddle, then, you know, I mean, we got in a huddle a couple times if we thought people were stealing signs and it was hurting us. I don't remember that really happening often, but it could have. And you get in the huddle, I guess, slow the game down or whatever, but we didn't do that often. The Bama thing was kind of our version of NASCAR, I guess, if you understood the NASCAR pace stuff. If we did want to just go as fast as humanly possible, then we were going to go Bama, Bama, Bama. We'd run, you know, red, buck sweep right. We called that bear. We got red bear. Then we got 8 yards. We said, Bama, we're just running red bear again. We're just going right at it. So, you know, maybe once or twice a game. Sometimes you get somebody on their heels and you just kind of start running down their throat, and you just need to keep running it. And the kids love that. So you just kind of play it fast, and we practice that way. You know, freeze is probably the one we call the most of these special tempos because we just hard count and see the play. If I was we didn't have much of like a 4-minute offense, or I didn't really love a guy over on the sideline with his arm up telling you when to snap the ball if you were ahead. We just hard counted, and that took about the same amount of time, and try to play regular. You know, get to the line. So if we went Brown O freeze, we're getting Brown, that put the X over, freeze, we're gonna hard count them, look over the sideline, you know, go from there. So let's see, I think we got a few plays I could probably let run while I'm talking. I love to freeze because I like to set the defense. So here we're just going to hard count them. You can see they're bringing, this was an easy one. You know, we hard count them. This is actually yellow L. So we're in yellow. The L went to the backfield. We hard counted them, and they're bringing people over here, corner up. You know, so we ran sweep the other way. And I don't know that I would have called that play had we not hard counted them. Usually when we put somebody in the backfield, they went that way. So they kind of didn't that time, but because of the freeze, we're able to kind of see they're flooding more over here. But you get them try to jump on this. It's always a bonus if they jump. You slow down the pace without changing the kids' routine. They're used to it. And you set the defense. You can also double freeze. I mean, if you're worried about when you freeze, then the next thing you say is snap the ball. But, you know, you would tell them, hey, freeze again, you know, freeze them again. Did that every now and then too. That one usually works. You get them jump off sides if you do it twice. Sugar huddle, get everybody in quick. Break the sugar huddle. I liked the linemen being about 1 yard behind the ball where they just kind of could turn around, snap the ball, break as fast as possible. You know, this is a good way, change the tempo, short yardage. You get that advantage of the defense coordinator not seeing the formation very long. So let's see, I think we got a play or two of this on here. Everybody's got to get set. See, we let these guys stay out wide here. But they all stayed in tight. So now we could have put the tight end on either side or and then we just get lined up, snap it. They're not lined up, get some yards. It was like 3rd and 1 in that particular play, I think. Maybe that's all we got on that. So if we went running lean, that'd just be the R&L going in motion and line up in late. They go where they're supposed to go. So if it was Brown, run, then it'd be Brown. The R comes in motion, hard count, but then he goes back where he was. You know, we said on that cruise, they would keep going to the other side. This just gets them to come and go back. So So you can see here, we're in like black, here we go, motion, hard count. That's just another way for us to give us a second to set the defense. If they jump, that's great. But if they don't, I just wanted to see what they were in here, see what they're going to do to motion. They didn't move, so we ran it again. So if you watch this one again, this was probably the toughest team we played that year in the regular season. Really good football team. We were able to get them, we hard counted, and they didn't really roll down or anything. So we could feel comfortable doing that again. I mean, sometimes high school team will disguise that, but rarely. So if we kept that safety back, we knew we'd get 4 or 5 yards. Kind of see the end zone copy here, same thing. Send motion, hard count. I get to play and go. All right, shifting. So we added a shift to it. We just added a word. You make up words. Words aren't important. The kids will learn them. You just got to be simple. You got to be simple with it. You got to practice it. But kids actually don't mind learning words. I had no struggle with them. Like on the box, the X traded sides, the zip, the Z traded sides, trade, the tight end traded sides. The point of all that is trading sides. I mean, they would line up in the wrong side. So if I wanted to get into black and I said black box, they would get up on the wrong side and go over to the correct side. So we still were going to end up in the same old thing we always were in, but it looked different to them. So here we're trading a tight end. Everybody's traded tight end, but I don't see people doing it as much anymore. If you play with a tight end, I would advise you to have some ways to trade a tight end. People don't seem to do it as much. See, we traded tight end there and we didn't get much of an edge. We got, that kind of helped us get the edge out there on sweep. I think that's the same play. No, it's not. It's a different team. But now we're running counter back. That's what it was. So we shifted over and this guy came with him. See, he came with him. So we ran the quarterback counter back. Because, the trade's going to always make them do one or the other. So they're shifting over here. I mean, they got the whole football team over there. We go box. The X is going to line up on the wrong side. So there the X was over there somewhere. This was, we put him over here. Threw him a fade, I think, because he was a good player, and that was able to get him on a different corner. I think that corner up there was really good, if I remember right. But because we went out there initially, they put their good corner out there on me. Let's see. All right, same thing here. All right, hard count. We end up out here. Just run the sweep, get a good cutback. All right, if we went zip, now the Z lines up on the wrong side. And the good thing about the off the ball guys is we could send them in motion and not have to stop and get set. So we could, this particular is a good example. So this is supposed to be bunch trips up here, buck sweep left. I mean, that's a generic play. Gold, bull, buck sweep left. Because we went zip, gold, bull, Z lined up on the wrong side. Now they're playing more balanced. He gets a little head start and gets a little extra block in there. We get to bounce it. You can kind of see you get this little action almost with a lead blocker with him coming in there just swapping sides and ending up where he would have been if we would have played it regular. All right, same thing here. Same thing. We're in. I like the zip a lot out of bunch trips, so it's going to end up in bunch. It's going to end up in the same old bunch trips like it usually is, but we run the buck sweep and we got an extra blocker out there because they didn't do too much to it. Some good camera work there. Same thing here. We get to the bunch, and I guess this time we throw it. No, never mind. I thought that was the pass. I didn't expect to have to talk today. That was there's another buck sweep, really good play. You can see we got zip motion. So we're just ending up in that same bunch trips, blocking the same people we normally block and ending up there. Now we get add hot. Now we would take one of the backs. You know, sometimes we might use a different word if they were identified, but a lot of times we'd identify one of these backs as more the H words, and they'd come in motion. They're doing the same thing. We're throwing the vertical. So that's going to end up in the same kind of bunch trips, but it's using a different receiver. So we're going to still end up in bunch trips. He's going to start on the wrong side. So he starts out a stack look, comes in motion, and that motion probably freed this guy up from covering, and we hit the inside go. Probably see it better here. All right, so here, same thing. Let's pause this again. So we would get in this set, you know, we're not talking about everything we've ever done, but we'll get in this set and stack the running backs up. Now this Z can come in motion. He's the one running the sweep. So they couldn't just say, well, when y'all got in this, you're in motion over here. No, I mean, this was a real formation for us. Stack these guys up, send him in motion, and attack that way. I love that series. So we were going to do that a lot. If we felt like they were overplaying it, we bring this guy back, and now we're back in the bunch trip set that we love. All right. If we said slide, we'd move two people. These are all just examples, guys. You can do something like this. You come up with a system to just move somebody. It doesn't have to be how we did it. See, we started in trips there, bunch trips. We moved two people over here to make bunch trips over here. We would just said that's gold O was the formation we were in. We'd have been slide gold O, slide these guys over and back gold O. I mean, well, we got a really good look because we watch that play again. We start out in a bunch trips over here with the strength over here and end up with a really big overload up here. We did charge. We moved the tight end and the running back. Nothing different. Just another thing where two people moved. Now we started tight end wing. We had all three of these guys over here, moving back here, run the buck sweep. If we said crazy, we let them all line up wherever they wanted to and just move. So we say crazy, Frank, Bear, line up wherever you want to. Shift to Frank, run Bear. You know, so they lined up wherever they wanted to. Shift. Kids like this one. I don't know why, but they like to run where they want to. So every now and then, once or twice a year, we let them run that one. But you can come up with anything, you know. I apologize. I'm a little hoarse. I can't be too loud. So I may be a little more monotone than normal. I apologize. But does anybody have any questions about this or anything we're doing? I can expand on the plays a little bit more. Coach Lane Powell was going to do this session, but he's gotten ill. So you guys are stuck with me. You got a question though, ask me. I'll be glad.
Hey, Coach, got a question for you. I know we're talking about more about formations, but with you, how you call your run game plays. I noticed you said, was it Zulu Zorro for inside zone? I guess
it was important for me that everything was one word, you know.
Yeah.
Play, so I didn't really care. And most of the run game plays were R&L words, not words that started with R&L, but words.
Yeah, I understand.
R&L in them. So like buck sweep, be bear, bull, Zorro, or inside zone might have been Zorro and Zulu. And people say, well, man, that's easy. But yeah, hell yeah. I mean, Hopefully it was
Yeah.
easy for kids, you know. We had signals and stuff, so I wasn't worried if people knew what we called stuff. I would be more worried if they knew the signal, I guess, because we played faster. But it was in, you know, when I started coaching, well, I guess when I first started being a head coach, and we went to more of a no huddle type scheme. So we would have a play the old fashioned way, 27 power, whatever it was, 29. And then we would call it something different when we went no huddle. And, you know, we had this little code word. And I started thinking that was
Yeah.
stupid. The kids had to learn both. We just started using the little code words all the time. So if we had a pass play, you know, I was going to call it one word. I didn't care. I mean, the kids make them up sometimes. We tried to keep them somewhat reasonable, you know, like the V words, right verticals, and the B words were buck sweeps. And, you know, we tried to do it that way, but sometimes they didn't make sense. But my experience with that kind of thing, coach, is the kids are going to memorize it anyway. I think coaches think sometimes that they got this great system that, you know, when we say 27 counter or 37 counter or 47 counter, they know that's all 7 counter, and they don't know that shit.
Yeah.
So do whatever you need to do with them, but get it in practice. So, because they're just kind of memorizing. So if you can make it real simple, and for us, the R and L words were pretty simple, you know, bear and bull is simple. So we could do the other stuff. We could shift and we could move and we could motion and all that. And it still was just bear and bull, or, you know, so counter plays were probably C's. You might have been like crab and club. And if we had a running back counter, we might call it cricket and clam, you know, so it all words, but there was two, you know, we did some, that was mostly how it was. But even the pass game stuff, you know, if I was throwing like mesh, I might just call it mesh or Mexico. Like I still would keep it in the vein of the same word. It just wouldn't maybe have the RL in it, you know.
Yeah. Do you do any wristband?
We did
Or
do
is
it,
it-
but I didn't the last few years when I was doing a lot of this stuff. We didn't. We just signaled it. And it wasn't real hard because the most you're usually going to have is 3 words. Most plays are 2 words because of formation and the play. And if you add one of these shifts or something in, you're going to get into, you know, adding that 3rd word. But it was really important. Here's my advice on that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the wristbands, by the way. We just didn't feel like washing the damn things or changing them out every day.
Yeah.
But when we put the shift first, so here's what I'm saying. If we ran green bear, or we could go zip green bear, we never had an issue signaling it in because they had to see the zip signal first. So the person signal formation is signaling zip green, zip green, zip green. You know, they're just signaling. And because the zip came first, the kids didn't miss it. If this is just my experience, I'm not saying other people do it's wrong, but if you go green zip bear, them kids see that green signal and they just turn and stop. And now you're better with a wristband because it's more clear. We're all on the same page of if you want to get into a little more detail with the shift or have a few more extra tags, I guess sometimes that's easier. So if you get into something you don't do often, and my advice on that would be to put it at the beginning of the play call.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, never would have thought of that.
That helped us.
Yep.
We did that for a while, but that was something that helped us. Short words are good if you want to use something like I'm talking about. No, notice I said bear, bull, crab, club. You know, I mean, short words, 1-syllable words are good because really play calls are complex by number of syllables, not by the word. You know, so if the word is a really long word with 4 or 5 syllables, you might as well just have 4 or 5 words that told somebody something different to do. So
Yeah, it tells you exactly what the hell to do. Yeah.
So like green bear, 2 syllables, you know, we can get that out quick. We can signal that quick. Kids can repeat it quick. I got caught up when I had to have sometimes words with big syllables, but that's a good question. I mean, that's the guy. I mean, look, I said I hadn't punted in 2 years. Also, he scored a touchdown in 2 years. So, but I do understand how to. My strength was probably more organizing and make sure we practiced all the stuff so we could execute it at a higher level. It wasn't that I had the great offensive mind or anything like that, but we did score a lot of points, and usually it was just because we really knew how to line up and execute, and little things like the syllables of the word and where we put the shift in the play call and that kind of stuff. I thought really helped us, you know, with that execution.
I see. Coach, one last question. If I had questions, is it easier to reach you by Twitter or email, or what's easiest?
Any of that's fine. Let me put my, are y'all still seeing my screen, Michael?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Let me do this. I apologize, as I said, guys, I kind of had to throw this one together. I did not intend to speak today. So I'm substituting. For sure I couldn't do as good as Coach Powell did, but I tried my best. That's me. You can get best way to get me probably either that's on Twitter right here.
Okay.
And then on my email, if you send me something, I'll get back with you. It may take me
Okay.
sometimes I get blown up, but
Yeah.
I will get back to you, I promise.
All right. Well, I thank you, Coach, and I enjoyed it tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Anybody else got a question? Feel free to ask. I don't have any more secrets because I ain't coaching no more. So I'm like an open book telling the secrets. Chad, you got a question? You want to know how I was
You
able
want me to ask a question?
I want to know, is your question, how was I able to score so many points with you coaching the offensive line?
Because I coached the line, that was how you were able to score so many points.
That's what I noticed too. Solid.
By the way, if there's any line coach on here, y'all don't have to know any of these formations. I never knew what the hell these kids were doing. I just worried about
line coaches jumped off, Bud, a long time ago. All that. All they knew, they didn't have about 3 or 4 plays they had to worry about. But does anybody else have anything? If not, I can be done. Let everybody go. I just I appreciate you guys taking the time. And if I can help you, let me know. I'm gonna talk on Friday about coaching organization stuff, which I hope you'll find helpful. Put this one together to sub for Coach Powell, but hopefully somebody can get something out of it.